Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. In this video, we're going to build a website blocker project. While I'm working or studying, I always find myself getting easily distracted by AI chatbots or entertainment websites such as YouTube or TikTok, so I built this project. Now let's build it together. The project will at first block over 30 websites, including all the major AI chatbots such as Gemini, ChatGPT, Claude, or DeepSeek, and some other entertainment websites such as YouTube, TikTok, or Reddit. Basically anything that can distract you from getting work or study done. The second feature that we have for this project is the smart timing. By default, it blocks from Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and you can change that. The third feature that I added for this project was force mode. When we want to focus now, but it's not actual weekday or the work hour. And the other feature is statistics. We can track how many times we block these websites. The other feature that I added for the project was cross-platform. It works on Windows, Mac, and even Linux. Let's move on to the code. First, we have to talk about the libraries that are essential for this program, such as datetime. We use it to get current time, date, and check if we are within work hours or not. Then we import time. For the function sleep, we'll discuss that a little bit later. We use it to pause the program between monitoring checks, and the subprocess libraries that allows Python to run system commands. In this program, we use it for the flushing DNS cache, and the other library platform to detect the OS or as been said operating system, if it's Windows, Mac, or Linux, to use the correct file path and commands. This is optional, and also the other two methods that we use in this program are also optional, because I wanted this program to be published, and I use it in my github and for the YouTube tutorial, because I didn't know what is your operating system. You can just delete these optional methods and library too. The other one is importing OS, using it for file operation, the file exists or not, and reading or writing these files, the take enter to showing the pop-up windows. And we use the message box, so it will import the pop-up dialog function from the take enter library. And the other one is threading. We use it to allow running the pop-up windows in a separate thread, so it doesn't freeze the main program. The other library that we are using is used for system related functions, such as existing the program. We add that to the program on the last line. The JSON library we used to save and load these statistics in a hidden JSON file. And the other one was pathlib, and we use path library to handle files path in Python. First, we have to define the main class. I'll name it a chatbot blocker, but you could call it a website blocker, because adding up these chatbots domains, I added some general distracting sites such as YouTube or Reddit, but it's optional, you can add them or not. We used initializer method. It will run when a new chatbot blocker object is created. Then I added a set work start hour and end hour as a default 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Then I created a list of all websites that needs to be blocked. These domains are optional. You can add them or remove some of them. Then there is a line about the host file path. It will run based on our OS. It will return the OS that we're using. The next line will guess the host file path. It will call a method to determine the correct path and add .backup to the host file path. So we'll have a backup for that. We will use the control flag to keep the monitoring loop running. It will equals to true. Then we track the block size count. At first it's 0, but it will track the total number of websites that are blocked. For me, after running this program, it was 36 websites that I added that to the program blocker. The next line will actually stats file path. It will save statistics in the user's home directory as a hidden JSON file, and it will lose previous stats. Calls method to read save statistics. The other method that we are using in the next step is get host path. This method is actually return the correct path for the current OS, and there's a Windows path and there's a Mac or Linux path. This is an optional. We'll load statistic from JSON file and check if stats file exists or not. It will prevent the errors that we might have if we run this program for the first time. After that, it will use the context manager for automatic closing, and it will convert the JSON file, the hidden JSON file, into a Python dictionary that we create in here. We use the get function with a default of 0 if key doesn't exist, and we add a error handling part. It will print the error message. If the program faced any error, it won't crash, and simply it will print out the type of error we had so we can fix that. The next method is save stats. It will save a statistic of that hidden JSON file. It will run the block count to a JSON file with proper formatting. We also add the error handling for that. I added a lot of error handling in this program because I faced lots of errors during writing this program. It will make sense if you were me at this point. The other method is work time. It will check if current time is within work hours or not. As been said, we use the datetime library in here. It will get the current time and date for us and track the hour from 0 to 23. From current time, it will check if it's a weekday. Weekday returns 0 as Monday and 6 as Sunday. So basically, 0 to 4 are weekdays and the other 2 are weekend. If the program actually returns true, it means that it's a weekday and the current hour is between the start and end hour. The other method that we're using in here is backup host. It will create a backup of the host file before modifying it. It will check if backup already exists or not. It will prevent overwriting an existing backup and copies host file. Read the original and write it to the backup file and print us the success message. And the program will return true if the backup already exists. Other method is actually used to restore the host's file from backup, copies backup to host file, restores the original, and also print the success message that our host file restored or not. Returns false if we don't have any backup for this program, and it might be the first time that we run this. The other method is the most important method called block website. It will add entries to host file. It will create backup before making any change and reads the entries host file into string and check if it's not already in the host file and adds it to a list of sites that needs to be blocked. And if all sites are already blocked, it will return us a message that all the websites are now blocked and writes each entry, prints which site was blocked, and the last line will count the blocked websites for us, so it will print that. As I told you, for me it was 36 websites. The other line will save the updated statistics, so the program will be updated and print the success message and calls the DNS flush to apply changes immediately. We will use this in the other method too. Windows requires admin rights. We'll face that in the final part. When we run this program, we have some problem with the code editors because Windows needs some settings, default setting before that, and we will talk about that a little bit later. Before the next function, we have to talk about what is the flush DNS and why do we need that in this project. Alright, here's the thing. When you type youtube.com into your browser, your computer doesn't automatically know where that is. It needs to look it up. Think of it like a phone book. First, it checks the host file, that's actually your personal address book. Then it checks its memory, I mean the DNS cache, and finally it asks the internet's phone book, DNS server. Now, when our script adds something like this to the host file, we're basically saying to the computer that, hey, YouTube is actually at this specific address. But here's the catch. If your computer already has YouTube's IP address stored in its memory, I mean that DNS cache that it has, is going to ignore our host file and use the cached address instead. This means our blocking doesn't work. YouTube loads just fine and it doesn't block anything. So what should we do now? We hit the reset button. We flush the DNS cache, so it's actually like telling your computer, forget everything you remember about this website address and you're starting fresh right now. Suddenly, when you type YouTube, your computer has no memory of where it's supposed to go, so it checks the host file and finds our block. Now look at the method that we wrote in here, in our code. First, if you're using Windows, you have to run this command. And the capture output equals true just means we're quietly capturing what's happening in here. The text equal true just makes actually sure we get text instead of binary data. The other method used to unblock these websites, we remove the block entries from host file and check if host file exists or not, reads all these lines into a list, and if the marker command is found, it will start skipping the block section and removes empty lines and IP entries. Outside the block section, it will write the filter content back to host's file and print the success message to us. There is the method that shows the pop-up. We have the pop-up message box from Takeenter library. We will define what the pop-up actually do, and we will create a secondary root window for that. We will hide the main window. We only want the pop-up, and the other line will make pop-up appear on top of all other windows. If we have some windows from Google search, this line will actually appear the pop-up on top of all these windows that are opened. After that, it will shows the appropriate pop-up based on icon type, and close the Takeenter window. We use the destroy function. We use thread library so it won't freeze the main program. If it's equals to true, it means that it will exit when main program exit. Is check and block. It will check if blocking should happen and blocks if needed. We had two options. The first one was if we are in a work time, you should block these websites. The other option was a forced block. If we are not in the work time or work day, we will force block this website for the option 2. But in this method, it wasn't forced and it wasn't on work time. You shouldn't block this website. The other method is called run continuous monitoring. It's actually main monitoring loop that we have in here. It will print the header with status information, ask for confirmation before making any change. The user or client should answer with yes or no. We add the lower function to make sure that the program will receive the yes or no in lower type. If it said no, it will return the operation was cancelled. It will ensure blocking is still active, or if it was outside work hour, it will unblock all these websites. The next line is actually defining the function that's called isAdmin. It will check if the program was run by the admin privileges. There's a Windows API call. It will return true if user is the admin. It will return false if the user wasn't the one that wants this program to be started. And if any error was happening here, it will assumes that it wasn't the admin who started this program. It will stop that immediately. The main function in here is actually defined as main function. The main entry point shows the interactive menu for us. Then it will print the main menu, guess user input. We have to select an option number from 1 to 8. For each option that we make, the loop will start calling those methods that we created before and use them in each section. For example, for option 1, it will start blocking during work hours and work days. Option 2, it will force block immediately, regardless of time or day. It will block all these websites. Number 3 will save us from this force block. It will unblock these websites. If the user use the option 4, it will display the statistics. The option 5 configures the work hours. And 6 will list all blocked websites for us so we can see them. The option 7 flushes DNS cache and prints the message of DNS cache flushed. Other option will exit the program. This one will runs if a script is executed directly and not imported as a module. The next one, we'll check for the admin privileges. It will exist if it wasn't run as admin, which is me, and print this message that the administrator rights required. And after all, the main function will start the program. The final part is how we can run this program in our computer or laptop. At first, as you can see, these two example websites, ChatGPT and DeepSeek, are working. Hit Windows key and X. Now click on Windows PowerShell. Then navigate to your user directory using the appropriate command for your OS. In the next line, you can run your Python project. As you can see, it shows the main menu. We can see all the options that we can choose from. Then we have to select option between 1 to 8. When you hit the enter, there's a pop-up that says all these 36 websites are now blocked. I went to the same domains, and as you can see, they're all blocked. Then I choose the third option, which is unblocking all these websites, so you can see the results. It also shows the pop-up that said all these websites are now unblocked. Then I reload those websites, and now you can see they got back. And if it doesn't work, you have to close the Google search window and try it again. Also, in the last part, I hit the last option and I exit the program. I learned lots of things during this project. I hope you guys enjoyed that too. Thanks for watching.